This segment is sponsored by the Prince George's County Department of the Environment. Today is the launch of an expanded composting program in Prince George's County. It can make a huge difference in our environment. And here's the department's director, Andrea Kroons, who shows how everyone can take part. Andrea, what is composting and why is it so important for us to be doing that in our lifestyle?
Absolutely. So the Prince George's County Residential Curbside Composting Program is a new program where we're having all residents have the opportunity to compost not only their yard trim, but their food scraps.
Okay.
And the reason that's so important is because food scraps are a major contributor to climate change. So as they go into the landfill, they break down, they produce methane, and methane is about 80 times more powerful than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas.
Okay.
So we want to get as much of this food waste diverted out of the landfill and into our composting center as possible.
Okay, so you're taking all of this that we're seeing here and it turns into this.
Right, exactly. So we take it to our residential composting center, which is down in Upper Marlboro. It's one of the most advanced and largest centers in the country. And we take all of these items and we put them through a process and they break down into a soil amendment that can be used in folks' gardens.
Okay, I like this. All right, so I've heard of composting before, and I'm not really sure how to do it. So how can we compost? How can we contribute?
Sure, absolutely. So this is a little bit different than home composting. So in home composting, you have to be very careful about what you're putting in the compost bin. You have to measure everything out. You want to make sure that vermin and stuff don't come. So most folks only compost vegetables in their home composting. So we're still doing that. So as folks are, preparing for dinner, they can go ahead and they can compost all of their food scraps that they're cutting off of their vegetables. But what's new about doing industrial composting is that in addition to that, we can take all sorts of other food items that you can't traditionally take in your backyard composting.
Okay, so I see like what we do in Maryland, crabs.
Of course.
We're gonna have the crabs, but what can we do with that?
So absolutely. So at the industrial scale, we can take crab shells, we can take clam shells, we can take oyster shells. So one really easy thing to do is rather than using a plastic tablecloth as you're doing your backyard crab feast, or if you're doing all your newspapers, after everybody eats, you can just wrap that up and put that straight into the composting cart. And we will, again, break that down, that'll break down into that wonderful soil amendment.
Okay, and then I see some bones over there. Can we put bones?
Yeah, exactly. So you can put pretty much anything in the compost bin. So I see like 3 places where we're actually going to compost at home. One, when we're getting ready, right? So we're making our, we're making our vegetables and we're tossing them straight into the bin. 2, after dinner, we're telling everyone, scrape the plate. So, whatever your leftovers are, here it's some chicken bones and some vegetables that the kids didn't eat, can go straight into that composting pail and then outdoors into the composting cart. And in fact, this is a compostable piece of silverware.
Toss that right in.
So it can go in there too. Yeah, and then the other thing is, when you're cleaning out the fridge or doing whatever's the end of the day, your coffee grounds right in the coffee filter can go in there.
Okay.
Rotten fruit, old, leftovers.
The Chinese takeout.
The old Chinese takeout. Now, we don't want the container on this because it's got some wax on it, but you can just dump the Chinese takeout right in there, and then you would just get rid of the container with your regular trash. And pretty much anything, I mean, meat that's gone bad in the refrigerator or leftover, bones after dinner. Dairy, so I had this may have been in my fridge for about 4 months.
We've
yogurt,
all found
so
those
I can
in the back of the fridge.
Huh?
We've all found those in the back of the fridge.
Exactly. So then I can just dump the, kind of grow to yogurt straight into my pail, and I can just put this in the recycling bin. So there's just we can get rid of everything. Yeah, dairy as well. So I also found some moldy cheese in the fridge. That can also, it would have to come out of the container, go straight into the pail, and then that'll be composted as well, and the bag goes in the trash.
So I see you're putting it in the composting bin with the liner in there. Obviously, probably smart to put a liner of some sort.
Well, I think it's up to folks. We encourage folks not to use a liner, but obviously when I'm cleaning out the fridge at the end of the week, I do tend to decide to use a liner. But most of the time, what I like to do is just put some paper towels right in the bottom of the pail. And then, the stuff that's not going to get terribly gross, I just put it straight in there. I mean, and then I can just dump this at the end of the night or after dinner so that I don't have to keep it in the kitchen. You do have to find a place in your life for the pail, right? So some folks keep it on their counter. I'm not going to keep trash on my counter. So I keep mine under the sink, and then I just pull it out when I'm prepping. The nice thing also is it's small enough it can go in the bottom level of the dishwasher. And so anytime mine gets gross, because I tend not to use the liners, I just put it in the dishwasher.
So easily attainable. Okay, so then with your program in Prince George's County, every resident gets the big bin outside.
Correct.
Okay.
So over the next year, we're going to be handing them out pretty much on a weekly basis, moving around the county. So all 180,000 households will be part of the program.
Okay.
As part of composting, you can, if you're having a picnic, if you're having a party where you want to use disposable items, you can actually choose disposable items that can be composted. So these are bamboo forks and knives. Chopsticks are always compostable. Even straws, if they say home compostable on them, they can go right into the composting too. These little things they give you from Starbucks, and my favorite, wine corks, can all go straight into the composting bin. So it's really important that when folks are choosing items that they want to be able to compost, that they make sure that they are appropriately labeled. So there is a label on items that are compostable, whether it is the food scrap bags, or whether it is these disposable serviceware items. They will have a label on them that says home compostable. And as long as they say home compostable on them, we can accept them 100% to our facility, and they'll again be broken down to the same material at the end.
Thank you so very much. This was so educational. Thank you.
Thanks.
For more information on this brand new program in Prince George's County, visit mypgc.us/compost.